sunny day here in Cape Town at the CPL 3.0. Welcome to Western Province Cricket Club as we bring you the CPL 3.0 live coverage. Heat under 16 taking on the Royals under 16. Heat playing in red from right to left and the Royals playing in blue from left to right. My name's AJ Spirinzuk and I'm joined by Amara Hendricks. Amara, welcome. Enjoying the coverage for the last couple of days?
Yeah, definitely happy to be here. I mean, first time I'm out here commentating for the CPL, and it's super exciting. Super psyched to see the youngsters out on the turf. We haven't been seeing much hockey as of late, so it's really nice to see them out here and see the team spirit. I think, yeah, we're missing that in our everyday lives. So yeah, I'm enjoying it being here, and I'm excited to see what the girls put out in this game today.
Yeah, we are here for, this is day 4, and we have only a couple of hours left of CPL. We've just had one team secure the under 14 title as Heat start with the ball, and as they play from left to right, or right to left, apologies. We've had one team under 14 Raiders have won the under 14 tournament. They've still got a game to play, but they have secured the win in that tournament, winning it by goal difference. As it stands, and we're watching under 16 girls currently. Both teams are unfortunately not in the shout to win the tournament, but you can see there's a good mood between both teams. They realize it's the last game of the tournament. They're playing their last game with some of them new friends, some of them friends that they've known for a while. As Royals win a free just inside the 25. Remember to follow us on our social media channels. You can also engage with us on YouTube. Send us any comments or messages of support for anybody. As Royals burst down the right-hand side, ball goes all the way across, beats everyone. As Heat now have a free hit on the right-hand side. And like we said, we have a couple of hours left of CPL 3.0. It feels like it started just yesterday and we got to the end of the tournament yet again. And we're hoping that the girls can get back to some sort of school hockey soon. Ball comes inside, but Royals wins the ball inside the circle. But she took the shot and was just outside the circle. It's gone over. I mean, they can still take the shot from there. We just hope that one of their teammates deflects it from inside.
Yeah, we're just seeing the Rebels actually. They've turned over quite a bit of possession in their press already, just in the start of the game. So we see their structure is working a little bit, and we see another tackle. But the Heat just managed to get past them. So
just the update from the logs. The Royals are actually sitting on top of the log currently. If they win this game, they will end up winning the tournament. The Rebels still have a game to play. The Rebels are 2 points behind them. So the Royals will try and secure the tournament win by winning this game against the Heat. The Heat lying 5th at the moment, so they'll want to try and get a win and move up the rankings. But at the moment, we've got, remember, it's 3 points for a win. As Rolls move the ball inside the circle, it comes off a stick, but Rolls on P-spot. Unfortunately, she couldn't get the shot away, and Heat have a chance. Clearing the ball down the right is players up front, but umpire deeming the ball dangerous, and it's back inside the 25 that the Heat Royals now have a free hit. And as we said, Royals are sitting top of the log currently on 8 points. The Rebels sitting second with 6 points. So Royals will try and ball goes back inside the circle. There's a scrap and penalty corner to the Royals as they try and look to take a 1-goal lead 3 minutes into the game.
Yeah, we just see the Royals fighting a little bit there, and their press has done well to gain them some possession, and they're working well up front. Together, we see some good teamwork from them, and the Heat have done well to defend, and let's see how they fend against them now in the short corner. We see the Royals out here with 2 castles, and see what happens. Royals to inject, it goes to the first castle. Flick comes in, ooh, just goes high. It hit the, AJ just informed me that it did hit the crossbar, and the keeper did jump for it. Ball just a bit high from the Heat, and umpire deems dangerous, and it is a Royals ball just outside the. Correction, sorry, the heat ball. It is a heat ball. The Heat are just trying to get it up and gain some possession going up the right-hand side of the field. Brilliant flick though from the Royals.
You know, funny enough, we had this conversation last night, and we were talking about the skill level, or not just necessarily skill level, but the type of skills that are being displayed now compared to, and I can actually say 20 years ago, we spoke about it last night, when I was under 14, drag flicking was non-existent. You know, you'd only find it at the top level. You only find it at guys that were spending a lot of time on Astro. Now, everybody's got an Astro. Everybody's got time to go to a turf and train. And now we're seeing skills that we did not think that people would have. We're seeing that now. Also, more hockey on TV. Things like EHL. We've obviously there's been some FIH Pro League matches that have happened throughout the world that we've been fortunate enough to watch, and things like Olympics. Yeah. And I think the kids, I feel like a kid sitting in front of the TV watching it now, but the kids will probably be sitting in front and watching what new skills they come up with. I'm very excited. As much as I would love to see South Africa perform at the Olympics, I'm very excited to see teams like India. I don't think we haven't seen any matches from the Indian teams for the last little bit. I mean, you've got all those teams that we haven't seen, and then your usual suspects like the Dutch, the Germans, the Aussies, the Belgians. So it's so fascinating that we can watch this, and it's really interesting. I mean, from my point, I watch it for a whole different aspects. I watch it from a coaching point of view, from a commentary point of view. But it must be so cool as a kid watching a game like in. Think about the first time when you you are still young now, but let's think about back when you were maybe in primary school when hockey became quite a big thing in your life. Was there a specific moment where you're like, I want to be a national player, or I want to be there? Can you think back to a moment like that?
Yeah, no, definitely. First, let's talk about the fact that these players are displaying skills that I never had in my vocabulary when I was under 14 or under 16. I remember taking a P flick when I was under 14 and I had no idea what it was in front of all the provincial teams. And of course I duffed it. And I will never forget that moment. But yeah, I mean, we're super grateful for what our hockey has come to in South Africa. I think we can see it by the level of skill and play that is happening just by the under 14 and under 16 players. And yeah, it's very exciting for SA hockey going forward. And then just, some simple things. The Heat just find some possession in the middle of the field and trying to string the ball to a player on the right-hand side, but just miss pass it a little bit. And the Royals are trying to regain possession and keep calm. But yeah, for me, I think it started off in grade 8 with when I started club hockey, and I remember being at Marty's Hockey as like this 13-year-old, and that was the time of Bobs and Glasby and Ilza Davids and Jenny King, and I was just there and I was in awe of these Marty's Hockey players, and I knew that from that moment that I wanted to go to that university. And that was when the Marty's teams were beating teams in Varsity Cup 6-0. And that's when I just saw that professionalism, and fell in love with hockey. And I'm privileged enough to have played with Bobs in an indoor tournament in your team actually, and to play with her at the Olympic selection squad. So I mean, your dream is to play with your idols one day, and I'm so grateful to have had that. And I'm just gonna work even harder to one day become the future hockey their idol and become a role model for them. And that's definitely my dream, and definitely seeing this in like it inspires me even more and excites me even more for my future, because one day I want to be that person that inspires them. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's important that those dreams that we nothing gets in the way of those dreams. You know, I didn't necessarily have those type of dreams and aspirations that you had. I had other things, but it's important that no matter what dreams, and I know these girls on the field now, there's a lot of them, and I know quite a few of them being involved with provincial indoor with some of them, that they've got some serious aspirations, and I think it's important that no matter what comes their way, that they constantly focus on that, and that they never lose track of it. As Heat now, with the ball inside, trying to get a ball inside the circle, but miss hit as Royals now building up down the right hand side. There's a chance, but she unfortunately mistraps it as Heat wins it again through the halfway line. I think it's important that these girls never lose track of their dreams and their goals. I chatted to Kate Woods, who's a former South African player, played at 3 Olympic Games, and she was the former captain in over 150 test matches for South Africa. And I asked her one of the questions, and she said one thing that's very important: when she was younger, she had a few moments where she wasn't playing well, and she wasn't doing as well as she wanted to do, but yet she still remained focused, and she became one of the most successful and recognized South African hockey players that we've ever had. So it's important that no matter what age, no matter what you're going through, that you keep those dreams alive, and we hope that these girls under 16, that maybe 5-10 years time from now, that some of them will be in that setup. You know, maybe you might be playing with some of them. You never know. There's Olympics. The next Olympics only 3 years away. I know we barely had this Olympics, and we're already talking about the next one. But I think it's something that if we look at somebody like Mustafa Kasim, who's, I think he's 17 years old, 17 or 18 years old, and he's at the Olympics. You know, so you're never too young to be involved, and he's a good example. I mean, we do know he is one of the best players in the country, and he's an unbelievable talent, but he's also worked really hard. He's had ambitions and goals. So we never know. You never know. You might see one of these girls that we're watching today, we might see in a few years' time playing in the national side. And as the Royals now with an opportunity, there's about a minute to go in the first chukka, and Royals are on top of the log in the under-16s, the team in blue, and they'll look to try and win it and secure the CPL 3.0 title by taking a win in this game. If they win this game, they cannot be caught, and they will win it. If they unfortunately lose, then the Rebels will have to get a win in their game to try and win the tournament. But we're still we're still 3 chuckers away from that. There's 45 seconds to go as Heat still have a drive down the right hand side. There's a couple of stick challenge that the umpire's not happy with. She's blown advantage as Heat now have a free deep in the left-hand channel. Down deep in that left-hand channel as Heat had an opportunity. Ball's got to move 5, and it's moved 5, and umpire's happy with it. Shot comes in across, and Royals have a chance to clear it, and calmly, but it's hit a Heat stick, but Royals still have the ball. Big ball goes up the field. No strikers up front as the keeper just watches the ball go over the baseline. With a couple of seconds, if it's been a fairly tight game so far, there hasn't really been much. Royals are still playing with the higher press. We got a few minutes in the chucker break now for coaches just to give instruction here or there. Like we said, not much instructions. You can't really give many instructions in this time, maybe 1 or 2. As we hear from the Heat coach saying it's a bit of a shaky start from his side. Haven't been too bad. I think there are a few mistrapped passes here and there that maybe frustrated them a little bit. Royals have looked the more comfortable side so far, but still very even. Your views, Mara?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, AJ. But I think once the Heat found their footing a little bit, they found themselves finding their way up the field, and I think they just need to back themselves and back in their ability. And I think they got the cobwebs out a little bit in the first few minutes, and yeah, teams are looking pretty even. It's looking good out there though. We've seen some great skill. And let's see what happens in this next chukker. We see the girls are really fighting, and they've done well to get the ball up the field. But the Royals just gain possession again. I mean, AJ, you've mentioned players like Mustafa, and he is a formidable hockey player. I think no one wants to be playing against him ever. But yeah, he's also an inspiration to young people. That anyone can do it at any age, and I think it's all about that mindset. I mean, he walks up to a short corner or to a P flick, and he knows it's going in before he even executes it. So I think that mindset to master that mindset is an amazing thing for an athlete. I think it's definitely commendable during this time to keep such a strong mindset going into big tournaments. So yeah, I mean, we'll hope to see him in the Olympics, and hopefully he does well. We've definitely Mustafa and Dayan definitely did well in the test series for the indoor tournament. I believe Dayan got player of the tournament. Yeah, he really did well and showed some great skill out there. It was super exciting to watch. So I'm sure it's going to be just the same at the Olympics, and we're super excited for the women as well.
Amara, you mentioned something now about mentality. I think sometimes we underestimate the type of the frame of mind that we need to be in as a hockey player, or even as a coach, as an umpire. What are the type of things if you're going to start a game? I mean, you obviously got, and what I'm trying to say is, as the ball comes in from Royals down the right hand side, Royals have the chance now to try and clear the danger, but danger hasn't been cleared from the Heat. As Royals win a free deep down on the right hand side, we talk about mentality over different things, and you're obviously arriving at a match trying to be focused a certain way and focusing on certain mental things. But you also got to start that not at the match. You got to start that before. You got to start that in your warm up, and even maybe the night before a match. And we spoke about professionalism. What are some of the small things that you do throughout the day, even when you're not training? What type of things are you constantly thinking about hockey, or thinking about ways to get better, or how much of your time is actually spent just taking your mind off the game? Or because I know we mentioned, we've chatted about it briefly, as balance is very important, but also making sure that when we're working really hard. As there's a scrap just outside the 25 as ball goes over the baseline. It's now 16 to Heat for them to build up. Some of the things that you do on a daily basis, whether it be a training throughout, that you try and keep mentally, try and stay focused, try and always think about different things to try, or things where you are constantly, you don't get yourself into a negative space when you've not maybe done something well, or staying really calm and focused when things are going well.
Yeah, I think it's about preparation. So once you've done the prep, and the mental game is what keeps all that preparation intact, and you find that belief in practicing as much as possible. So once you've done your training, you kind of write down everything that you've done, and when you're sitting down at home, you want to write down and jot down in your book, okay, this went well, this went wrong, this is where I can up my training a little bit. Maybe I found that the Royals just missed a shot wide, and that came straight from the top of the D. Royals have found themselves with a slightly more chances in the second chukker. And the overhead comes from the Heat, but the Royals find possession in the middle of the field and trying to go back, but there's a bit of a tussle in the back line for the Royals, and the Heat ladies are challenging them and gained possession and just cleared wide by the Royals. So yeah, as I was saying, it's just about mental preparation, and for me, I've been reading up a lot, and some coaches think that mental preparation is extremely key, and I agree with that. I think visualizing prior to the game, prior to your training session, just prepares you for your training session that much more, so that okay, this is what I feel, this is what I expect of myself, and this is what I want to accomplish from just this training session or even the match. There's an overhead into the Heat circle, but it wasn't gained by any players, and is now a 16 for the Heat team. Yeah, so as I was saying, it's just about visualizing. I think for me, visualizing prepped my mindset before going into anything, and that meant that I had an upper hand on my competitors, and he just the Royals just found a ball straight through the Heat circle and tried to deflect it, but deflected it wide. Unfortunately, that's another chance for the Royals. as the Heat try and gain possession outside and find it a nice ball to the right half. It's a great run from the Heat, and now they find themselves in the middle of the field, and they're gaining ground on the right-hand side of the field, and there's a big ball in. Find a Heat player and just try and get the shot off, and there's a tomahawk. The Heat just find themselves a goal and went over the keeper's shoulder, and that was a brilliant counter from the Heat side. Great build up on the right-hand side of the field, and yeah, we just see how teamwork gets the goals. The Royals will obviously try and push even more in this quarter.
So yeah, the Royals going Heat going 1-0 up against the log leaders, the Royals. Remember, the Royals they can secure the tournament by winning this game. They can still win it if they lose this game, but they will obviously want to try and win this tournament and not leave the tournament in the hands of another team, as they're 2 points ahead of the Rebels currently on the log. It's a long way to go here. Only 5 minutes to go in the second chukker. And Royals with a chance now down the right-hand side, and unfortunately hitting the foot, and Heat get a free hit out. Good thing you mentioned there, Amara, because I think, you know, the mental preparation is a massive part of it. It's not just pitching up and arriving at a match and playing. I think I mean, you obviously don't want to overthink anything. You obviously don't want to get into a negative mindset, but I think it's very important to make sure you're mentally preparing for certain things. You know, I think that's something that is very important for players, as well as various things like nutrition and a whole lot of other things. As Heat now with a chance, the ball comes inside the circle, missed by both the Heat and the Royals players, as Royals now have a chance, build up from the 16. There's a very, very energetic Heat team currently. There's a massive, massive celebration from the bench when they scored. So lots of confidence being built here, and Royals do seem a little bit stunned currently, but they are top of the log currently, so you will never write off a team like that. Still 5 minutes, 3 minutes 50 to go in the second chukker. As Royals found a pass inside, it's umpire playing advantage for a foot. There are players inside the circle, ball comes across, but it's unfortunately a pass to another player, to no player, and Heat now with the ball, with a chance to build up. Is one in midfield by the Royals. Royals entering the 25, under pressure from the Heat. Still lots of pressure. The Heat are defending really, really tightly and aggressively currently, as Royals with the ball, feeds it down the right-hand side. There's a little bit of space as they enter the circle. Stick tackle, and the umpire not happy with the challenge. As Royals get a penalty corner now with 3 minutes to go to try and equalize. And yeah, nice warm day here in Cape Town. Thanks for joining us. We 2 minutes to under 3 minutes to go in the first half. It's 1-0 to the Heat, and Royals with a chance to get a goal back. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. And if you've got any comments or anybody you're supporting, please let us know and engage with us on our YouTube live chat. We'll be with you throughout the rest of the day. This push comes out to the first castle, and a little mistrap, but Royals looking for the shot, and a little backhand flick comes in, and they push the ball from post past the keeper, and it's just gone past the post. Big chance there for Royals to come back and tie the game. Royals playing with a very high press, and Heat taking their time. Unfortunately, now they're under lots of pressure inside the circle. Ball comes out, but Royals have now won it as they enter the circle. Heat cover defense comes across and clears the ball out wide, with Heat under a little bit more pressure now as the Royals look to try and equalize. It's just under 2 minutes to go. Another ball inside the circle. As we look for a tomahawk shot coming in, and Heat, lots of pressure from the defense. That's exactly how the Heat have been defending throughout this game so far. They've really been in the All-Stars, in the Royals' faces in defense, and they've been doing very, working really, really hard there. You can see some of those Heat defenders just breathing a little deeper than they would have expected as they all try and take their time, take a couple of breaths, 'cause they've been under a bit of pressure. Big ball across now. Ball comes in and straight to a Heat player inside the 25. She looks for a big ball inside the circle and hits a Royal stick. Goes over the sideline and goes over the baseline, and it's now a long corner to the Heat. Your views on the first half so far, Mara?
Yeah, I think the teams have been doing really well. I think it's been very good hockey. I think the Royals have found themselves slightly more opportunities than the Heat, but I think the Heat just capitalized on their chances, and they're definitely defending well, the Heat team, and they've just been finding their passes just slightly that 1% more than the Royals, which has given them the upper hand. But I'm excited to see what they put out for the second half. I think the Royals are definitely going to, as we see them stretch the field, we're definitely going to see them fighting for the goal in the next half, as they want to secure their position. Oh, and a tomahawk comes in, and it's a great strike. What a finish from the Royals player. Clean tomahawk, goes bottom right. Absolute quality from Royals, and they end the first half going 1-1. Brilliant play from the Royals. Yeah, so I think this next half is going to be quite telling for the teams. Royals are definitely going to push for the win, and they definitely want to secure the first position. But I feel like the Heat have done well. They've defended well, and yeah, who knows? I think it's anyone's game. Fair play at this time.
I think that's just almost the first error that Heat have made in defense. They were always in their faces, in the All-Star, in the Royals' faces, and they were marking really tightly. And for the first time, they've let a player go, and that's something that must be a warning shot to the Heat now, to know that they can't let these players with open shots. It was a great finish, especially on the stroke of halftime. It was like about 2 or 3 seconds left to go, and slotted it past the keeper. I mean, it's very little that a keeper could do in that situation, because she struck it so clean and hit the sideboard. As it's now 1-1 Royals and Heat, as like we said earlier, Royals are looking for the tournament win at CPL 3.0. Heat have been very good on defense. They've had not as many opportunities as the Royals had, but they've been very calm. They've been defending really well, and they've been very patient. They haven't been flustered at all. It will be interesting to know, because we talk about mentality, and sometimes when you concede a goal like that just before halftime, even though it's still tied 1-1, you sometimes take a slightly negative mindset into halftime, because the coach would have had a certain team talk that he would have had at halftime. Now the team talk maybe has to change just a little bit, because his team's obviously conceded a goal so early, or conceded a goal so late in the half. So I think in that space he's probably just got to get them back into a positive mindset. Their body language was really good, so it'll be good to see how the start of this half goes. Obviously Royals taking a lot of confidence, you can see how they run back, a lot of spring in their step, a lot of excitement, the mood is really good, because obviously they've taken that goal brought the game back now. But yeah, that's why we love hockey so much. Royals will now have the pushback for the start of the third chukker, as they play from right to left, and Heat playing from left to right. Remember, we said that Royals are chasing the title, and Heat are going to try their best to try and restrict that as much as possible. It's been such a close game, and really, really good level, and we're excited to see, especially if it stays tied for a long time, what performance both teams will come up with. There's a good tackle from the Heat on the right-hand side, as now they look to counter, and they've got some space and some good cover from the Royals as they move across to try and win the ball. So good work on defense. As Heat still with the ball outside the 25, she's waiting for the ball to drop, and she hits it in, and tapped by hit the edge of a Royal stick, and it rolled and hit a Heat foot. But Heat still putting them under pressure as they win the ball. As Royals now have the ball on their halfway line, a chance for them to build up early into the second half. Again, thanks for joining us for our live stream. Thanks if you've just joined us, it's 1-1 Heat Heat scoring early with the Royals inside the circle, still under a little bit of pressure, hitting the foot of the Royals' foot as Heat have the free hit out. If you're just joining us, the Heat took a 1-0 lead early in the game, and on the stroke of halftime, the Royals equalizing and being 1-1 at the moment. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for watching on the YouTube live stream. Please engage with us on our YouTube channel. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know who you're supporting as Heat drive inside the circle. Ball comes inside the circle and play to the player on far post, and she couldn't get a stick to it. And an early chance to take a 2-1 lead goes a begging for the Heat. As we're just under a minute and a half down in the third chakra.
Yeah, I think yesterday we spoke about that the importance of body language, and I think the Heat team didn't let their heads drop after conceding that goal, and I think they came onto the field. Not sure what the coach told him, but they came onto the field looking positive and looking ready to play. So both teams are coming out with very positive energy. Heat are taking a shot, keeper saves it, and it just goes down the baseline, and it's a Heat long corner. So yeah, just that importance of body language, not letting your energy drop, especially in the back end of the tournament. You know, I think both teams displayed a very, very positive outlook to their play, and showed some good body language. And the Heat just fired in and find a foot of the Royals team. It is now a short corner for the Heat team.
Amari, you mentioned body language. How important is it to try and feed off your teammates' body language?
Yeah, extremely important, especially when it's so hot, especially when you're so tired. You know, you're on day 4 of the tournament. This is like the last energy in your tank. You're definitely feeding off of other people, and you know, sometimes it takes one player just to remind you, you know what, I'm here with you, or just giving that motivational word, and that will give you that extra kick for you. And I think that's so important, especially at this time of the tournament.
As push comes out from the Heat, got a chance. He goes for a tomahawk shot, but it's unfortunate. It's lifted, and remember, your first shot at a penalty corner has to hit the backboard, has to cross the line hitting the backboard. So that's not allowed. As much as everybody celebrated, unfortunately, that's the rule. The ball's not allowed to be lifted above the height of the backboard for the first shot in the penalty corner. And ball goes. Coach is trying to convince everybody that it was the wrong decision, but he's not going to win that battle. As Royals with a chance down the left-hand side now, driving and under pressure from the Heat, and it's exactly what the Heat have been doing most of the game. They've really been aggressive in their defense. Now a calm way of clearing the ball out, but she's unfortunately lost it on the 25 as ball comes inside the circle, hits a stick, but it hasn't hit a foot, and ball hasn't been cleared yet, but now it's hit a Heat foot, and Royals now with an opportunity to try for them to go 2-1 up in this game as it's still 1-1 in the Saturday afternoon. Sun is shining, nice warm day in Cape Town as the girls are playing in their last matches in CPL 3.0.
And the Royals inject to the first castle. It is a drag flick to be taken, saved by the keeper. Nice glove saved and cleared wide. Royals maintain possession though. And just some good skill presented by the Royals, and unlucky they unable to find a foot or find the free hit, but they do manage to gain a long corner. That was great defense from the Heat goalkeeper. Struggling to find their players. Their Royals are just trying to gain some ground with their passes, and they're trying to go up the field in through the middle. Royals are maintaining possession and find some players on the left hand side. Some great indoor tackling there from the Heat player, and the Royals just the Royals just give a tomahawk into the D and find a foot on the right post, and it is another short corner awarded to the Royals.
It's another penalty corner. You might be wondering if that ball was maybe lifted dangerously, but umpire was right there. She saw where the danger was, and she was happy that the ball was lifted fine. As Royals now with an opportunity to take a 2-1 lead with 6 minutes to go in the third chukka. As we're coming towards the end of their tournament, there's still a couple of games left for the other teams, but Royals and E playing their last game. Unfortunately, a dry turf means that she couldn't get to. A dry turf means that it was a ball got stuck in the turf a little bit. Normally, what teams do is they take some water and they throw it down at the push-out spot. And unfortunately, she didn't. And then, so Heat with a chance now, moving the ball. And they've won a free down the right-hand side and quickly taken as they've got some numbers forward. As they've got space on the right-hand side. And again, a challenge from the Royals, but as the challenge came in, the Heat player pushed it over the line. As the Royals have a chance now on the left-hand side. Overhead comes in and finding good space down the left-hand side. Heat coming across and stick challenge, but the umpire's playing advantage as Royals are entering the circle from the left-hand side. But again, calmly defended like the Heat have done throughout the game. And, unfortunately, she's hit a stick first before she got the ball. And it hit the Royals' foot, but it hit the stick first before umpire blowing that first. As Royals building up now. Big ball comes in and well covered by the captain from the Heat, and she tries to find a strike on the left-hand side, but the ball's going to go over the baseline. But it might have hit a Royal stick, so it will be a long corner to the Heat on the opposite side of the field. As Heat now, been a very, very tight game. You can't separate the two teams currently. There's a good pass from midfield as they enter the 25, and ball comes inside the circle and cleared by the Royals as keeper went for it as well. As it's now a free hit out on the right-hand side for the Heat. As a quick free hit has been taken, ball's travelled 5 as they hit the ball inside the circle. But a ball has not been called dangerous as the umpire is happy with it. As a free hit on the right-hand side for the Royals. Amaro, we touched on it briefly in the last game, but things are starting to get tight now. Things are starting to get, it's a little bit nervous. A few tips that the players probably, what are the type of things they need to think about in this specific time?
Yeah, I think just for both teams, they know what their game plan is. It's just sticking to that and kind of, buying into the game plan that the coach has set out. I think each team knows their strong points, and that's what. Crossball comes from the Heat, and they're unable to find a player, but the Royals are not out of the danger yet, and they still the Heat maintain possession. Trying to find their way up the left-hand side of the field, but just struggle to do so. It is a Royals ball now in the middle of the field. Bit of a challenge there, and Royals win the free hit. Yeah, like I was just saying, I think you must just try and play to your strong suit and not necessarily do anything out of the ordinary, especially when you're tired. Decision-making is a bit slower than usual, and, so I think just backing the basics and doing the basics well. I think at this time of the tournament, you see things creeping in like missed traps or missed passes, and you just failing to pre-scan just a little bit extra. That gives you your edge on your game. So, just keeping those basics strong and trying not to do anything too fancy. But we see the Heat have maintained possession in the middle of the field, and they're going up the right-hand side of the field and trying to get it into the middle of the field, but they have hit a Heat foot. It is a Royals ball, and with 2 minutes to go, the teams are just trying to maintain possession. And
so if scores stay the same, the Royals will be crowned champions of the under-16 CPL 3.0. They will move up to 11 points, with the Rebels still on 6 points. Even though the Rebels have a game to play, they will unfortunately not catch them, as it's only 3 points for a win. So, as it stands, the Royals will be happy with it, although I think they will try and try and get a win, because you can see they're fighting hard. Both teams really, really working hard here. As we rolling the changes on the side from both teams, as now becomes important as the legs start getting tired and the energy levels are a little bit low. As a good challenge from the Royals as the ball comes across, and ball went just wide of the player diving in on the right hand side. But good work there from Royals, pressing high and winning the ball in high up in the Heat defense. There's 40 seconds left on the clock for the third chuck, as Royals again with the ball come inside the circle. Again, well defended by the Heat. They've been doing that all game. It's just going to be interesting to see, can they continue doing it as they constantly under pressure. But they've been doing it really well for the half. As ball comes inside the circle, keeper making a save, but Royals still have the ball on baseline, and it's hit a Heat stick and win over the baseline, but umpire blew for danger, and Heat now have a free hit from the back, and Royals still pressing up high. And as the whistle goes for the end of the third chukker, a few tired bodies, and understandably there's been 4 days of intense hockey. The girls are putting big performances from both teams at the moment, and they've got 12 minutes left to the end of the tournament. Royals, like we say, if they win this game, if they draw this game, they will win CPL 3.0 for the under 16 girls section. And if the Heat somehow do win this game, then it's up to the Rebels' performance later to see if they will win the tournament. But like we said, Royals, Heat not having a long team talk. He's just trying to motivate his team fire them for the last couple of minutes. And Royals also quick chat from Coach Sasha Sivitson. As these girls know exactly what they need to do. They, like Amara said earlier, they just need to stick to what they know, do the basics well. The Royals probably a bit more chances than the Heat towards the back end of the third chukker. But fourth chukker, let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think we heard Sasha Sivitson, the coach of the Royals, just say, you must keep it simple, especially nearing the end of the game. Keeping it simple will just minimize the room for error and the room for mistakes. And we see the Heat going up the right-hand side of the channel, and they have fired it into the D, and unfortunately the Heat cannot find an upgrade in the circle. Yeah, like I said, when you are tired, energy is low, keeping it simple minimizes area, and that's what we need, especially when you are looking for a win. Finding that area just puts the team on the back foot and just helps the opposition, gain that extra bit of energy over them. And when the game is stop-started, teams find it difficult to find their rhythm, and that's something that the teams need to keep in mind, especially when you're on the fourth day of the tournament. But we see the Royals going forward now. Unfortunately, umpire doesn't give advantage and calls for the free hit to be taken back outside the 25. This hit does not need to go 5 before entering the circle. We see a hit straight into the circle, but no Royal team member to actually get on the end of that. So it is a Heat ball taken as a 16. The Heat goes straight down the middle, and bit of sticks flying now, and the Royals team have just found some extra position there. Bit of a battle in the midfield, and the Royals maintain possession and try and fire the ball in, but the Heat continue to show some great defense.
Yeah, Heat doing what they've been doing all game, and just defending and holding their spaces really well. As Royals still keep on the pressure as they try and look to they're showing a lot of urgency. Remember, if they currently do stand, as we mentioned, do have won the tournament if it stays as a draw. But I know they're going to try and get a win, and winning a penalty corner, hitting the foot. Coach unhappy that the defenders have not protected their feet there. As Royals have a penalty corner now to try and take the win or take a 2-1 lead, as we've got 9 minutes left in this game. As they take a penalty corner from the opposite side, changing things up a little bit. As well the chance. Umpire making sure the defense is in their position. As push out comes, and she's going to probably take a straight hit, and straight hit comes in and saved on the line by Heat player, but unfortunately the rebound came to a Royals player on the far post, and she just slotted it past to the defender after really good work to defend it on post. And Royals have taken a 2-1 lead for the first time in this game. As we said, they look to try and win the CPL 3.0. They've made a huge step with 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, we saw some brilliant defending though from the Heat. Unfortunately, they just didn't manage to clear the ball wide. I think that the games we saw yesterday, where a lot of the teams capitalized on the rebound balls, and that's exactly what the Royals did now. We saw the rebound coming off of the far postman in the defensive line of the Heat team, and just the Royal team, eager to get on the end of that, and saw a positive result from it. So yeah, I think it's just about that tenacious attitude. You saw them hunting for that ball, and also a great strike from the Royal player who took the short corner. But it was just a bit unfortunate for the Heat team. They had defended well in the first wave, but that second wave just got them. Royal maintain possession and try and get a shot off in the D, but don't get the shot off, and it's now the Heat team trying to build up play from the right hand side. And the Heat team maintain possession and try and get it up. The player is still going. It is now a 3v2 for the Heat team, trying to get the shot off, and Tomo comes off and just goes wide, unfortunately, and is now a long corner. As you can see, it's a very exciting game. Both teams coming out with lots of energy, lots of fire. It's an exciting day out here for Cape Town and for South African hockey.
Yeah, very exciting game. It's going to turn out to be a very, very exciting finish, as Heat pushing hard for that equalizers. Royals win the ball back now with a possible counter-attack. Good turn and receive, but taken away from the Heat play, and Heat's got some numbers forward. As good working back there, but there's some space for the Heat to move into. And another drive of the 25, and a really good turn, and there's some open space inside the circle. Shot comes in. Keeper makes a save. Another shot with a bit of a rebound. Another opportunity for the Heat. As she drives, it hits the stick. Another flick comes in, but they still haven't cleared it. And Heat's got the ball inside the circle. Just some defense from the Royals at the moment, as they somehow clear the ball. And they've got some numbers forward. And as we're saying, things are starting to open up on the field as the Heat looking for the goal. And big ball across. Unfortunately, couldn't find anybody. And Heat have deliberately now played with 3 strikers very high up on the field. 3 players high up on the field. Big opportunity for the Heat that they've just missed now, but see, they are stretching the field much higher as they look for that equalizer. And another big ball comes in, but missed by a few players, but picked up by a Royals player, and Royals lose it, but they've won it back again and free to the Royals just inside the half. So we've got 5.5 minutes to go. And Royals, Heat starting to roll the changes because their players are going to be running quite a bit trying to chase in this game. Big ball again comes in, but unfortunately not trapped, as Royals will have a 16 hit out. Heat coach calling for a high press. They're going man to man. They need to pick a man. So 5 minutes left on the clock. And putting pressure on the Royals defense. And they win the ball in midfield, and now for a chance for them to go back and put the Royals under pressure. As Royals seem to have squeezed them to the left-hand side of the field, and a good tackle as they clear the ball out, but not cleared out all the way, but they have a sideline hit. About for Sasha Sivertson shouting for the Royals to keep to keep it calm, to keep it simple, as they do not want to give anything away. But they've hit it straight to a Heat player. Ball comes inside the circle, but no Heat play inside the circle to pick that up, as Royals again have an opportunity, a 16, to clear it out.
Yeah, I think it's that time of the game where it's just the anxiety levels are high. Obviously, the Royals have put a lot of pressure on themselves to get that goal, and they just want to maintain that lead. So I think it's just about finding your player, assisting with your player, and they've just lost possession, and the Heat team are showing some massive energy out here, and they're trying to get the ball up, but the Royals are putting up a good fight. Yeah, it's just a time of the game that you need to keep calm and keep it simple, as the Coach Sasha said. Both teams are pushing really hard, and we love that attitude, and let's see what the results bring. The Heat have found themselves trapped in the right-hand corner, but trying to gain possession, and they just lose it. Umpire calls it a Royals ball. The Royals are just trying to alleviate some pressure by giving an overhead, but they've just lost possession, and the Heat team are attacking down the left-hand channel. They're gonna fire it in, and it just goes past the Heat players, and a Royal player gets a touch on, and it just goes wide. It is now a long corner for the Heat.
So Heat now with a chance. Got time, but lots of pressure from the Royals as they try and defend their lead, but ball lifted dangerously. Heat have the free just outside the circle. Yep, the whole Royals defense, the whole team is behind the ball as they try and defend the lead with 2.5 minutes to go. Great turn by Heat. Ball comes in, but it's defended by Royals. Royals with an opportunity now with a 3v3. As they beat the first defender, they've still got she got an attacker in front of her. She unfortunately didn't pass it early enough, but they still have the ball down the right-hand side. Heat getting some numbers back. But as understandable, there's a lot of them running a little bit slow. But what a tackle in the far corner. She's been solid all game long. As Heat are now with just under 2 minutes to go to try and get that equalizer, and Royals trying to defend that lead, as they are just under 2 minutes away from winning CPL 3.0. But Heat still with the ball and lifted dangerously, and Royals will have a free hit. And the Heat are taking off their goalkeeper. They're going to play with 11 outfield. They're playing with 11 outfield players. And keeper is rushing off the field, but she's got to substitute at the halfway line, as they are going with 11 outfield players to try and see if they've got an extra number so they can try and get the win. But it is a bit of a risk if the Royals do get into the circle. There is an open goal that they can score at. But a minute to go, and the ball going towards the baseline. Unfortunately, keeping it in. Great work, as Royals working hard to try and get a goal. But again, good defense by the Heat. They've been solid all game long. But despite being behind in the game, they have been defending really, really well. Again tight, as they Heat parking 2 players inside the box because they know they're playing without a goalkeeper. There's 25 seconds left as Royals are going to try and secure the win with a hits the foot inside the circle. A penalty corner to the Royals with 15 seconds to go, and this will see them win this game. And now Royals, with no goalkeeper, have got to defend this one. If it was me, I'd run one person really high, and then I'd keep three in the box. And as it stands, the Royals have won the game, but they've still got the penalty corner to play. And we've got penalty corner. Mara, as the penalty corner happens, what are your final thoughts?
Super exciting game. What a great afternoon out. I think both teams gave out a very good performance. Super exciting for the Heat coach to take off his keeper, but let's see what the Royals can do. The whole team is around the circle. Goes to the first castle. Strike comes in. Royals, the Heat defended, and but the Royals taken 2-1 to the Royals, and they've won the tournament. Super exciting for the Royals team. I think the Heat can give themselves some credit. They put out a very great performance. You can see that they are happy about their performance as well. So very great day out.
Yeah, what a finish. That's a very, very exciting finish. Congratulations to the Royals for winning the game, but also winning CPL 3.0 for the girls under 16. From myself, AJ Spirincic and Amara Hendricks, thanks for joining us, and bye for now.